Hey guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be painting a little painting on a 8x10 canvas with Artistro modern art material paints and mixing in a little bit of Master's Touch as well. And these are acrylic paints that I'm using. That's my favorite medium, and I just feel like it is probably the easiest thing to work with for me right now. I've tried oils, and the thing that drives me crazy about them is the fact that they take forever to dry. And so if you actually were in a rush and you needed to finish something, you never would be able to. But anyway, this painting is something that I don't normally do because I normally try to be as realistic as possible. Now, if you guys follow me on any of my social media accounts, this past, I guess, Cyber Monday or around Thanksgiving, I did a bunch of little paintings on small canvases. And pretty much all of them sold, which was awesome. I appreciate all you guys. This one actually sold. There's only like 2 of them that haven't sold, which if you want to check those out, you can check them out on my website, kemptercanvas.com. The difference between this painting and, let's say, something like a more realistic elephant painting or one of the wilderness series that I'm working on is this is on the impressionistic side of art, which is something I don't normally do. So what I'm doing right now is I am blocking in. Normally, if I was going to do something very detailed, I would do the block in stage and then I would go back over it and add as much detail in it as possible, just to give it that crisp feeling of near or as detailed as a photograph, which is what I will want to be doing or will want to do in my career as I go forward. As I've stated in some of my other videos, this kind of painting is kind of my favorite painting. If I was going to be a buyer, I would probably buy something that's more messy and has a lot of style to it than something super realistic. But I never painted anything like that, so I wanted to try my hand at it. And I actually had a ton of fun doing a bunch of these little paintings. They were relatively quick and they were a ton of fun to paint. But this one, the feeling I'm going for is I'm trying to play on the emotion of the viewer, of someone who's going to look at this painting. And that's something I do want to talk about a little bit. When you are painting something, what is the point that you want to get across in your art? Now, if you're not doing a painting for any other purpose than enjoyment or trying to make it as detailed as possible, then this may not apply to you. But if you are trying to do a painting where you are trying to tell a story, it is a good idea to have that idea of what you want to do in mind before you start. Now, what I wanted to get the point across in this one is a recall or kind of play out on a memory that maybe someone who grew up in the snowy area had of their parents or them taking their kids to get a tree, maybe actually going out into the woods and getting a tree, not at a tree farm, and bringing it back home. And that's what I wanted to do and get the point across in this piece. Images, I actually combined a bunch of images together to get this. In the reference photos that I used, the boy was by himself, just carrying a tree by himself. And in the other one, the guy was just carrying a tree. It was a different tree. So I just combined the two together so that they're both carrying it together to give that father-son camaraderie where they both went out making memories, cutting a tree down, bringing it home for the Christmas season. And also because it's the Christmas season right now when I'm filming this, so that's another reason why I did this painting. But I wanted the feeling of this painting to be very cold and very rugged feeling. So I wanted it to be messy and have a nice character to it. And I toned it down and made it much bluer as I went along because I started out with some greens. I didn't completely get rid of all the greens in the painting because I wanted a little bit of them in there. But eventually you saw at the beginning as I kind of put a little bit too much green in there, I kind of toned it all down and made it very navy blue and dark blue. But then in the highlights, I went completely as white as possible. Now in this tree, it was actually pretty difficult for me to get this tree because I wanted it to have a really snowy feel, but I also wanted to get that green to come through, so I had to work on that balance. Now, one of the best tricks I've ever seen for getting the snowfall to be as represented as possible is to get your paintbrush and wet it down with a lot of water and get a little bit of white paint, and then just flick the paintbrush onto the canvas, because that will give you the most accurate representation of falling snow. If you try to individually put a single one on there, what it will do is it will look very unnatural, and I've had to completely redo paintings before because I did it wrong. So if you just take that and do that little technique, it is far and above the best way to do it. So I appreciate you guys watching this video, and thank you guys, and I will see you in the next video.